In the absence of any new consensus around new witness testimony and moves to see documents blocked by the White House, impeachment managers have painstakingly gone through the charges President Trump faces while providing a timeline of his alleged misconduct. The focus Friday will be on his alleged obstruction of Congress, the second article of impeachment passed by the House last December. Thursday's session focused on why the president's actions rise to the level of an impeachable offense, preempting arguments from the defense, which will begin in earnest on Saturday.
The president's defenders may argue, as Mick Mulvaney tried to do, that quid pro quo arrangements are a common aspect of U.S. foreign policy nonsense. There are situations where official United States acts, like head of state meetings or the provision of foreign assistance, are used to advance the national interests of the United States. That is not what happened here. Here, President Trump sought to advance his own personal political interests, facilitated by Rudolph Giuliani, the human hand grenade.
Consistent with the faithful execution of his or her oath of office, a president's first and only objective is to get foreign leaders to do what is in the best interests of the United States. That's not what happened on July 25th. On that date, President Trump used a head of state call with the leader of Ukraine to help himself, to press a foreign leader to investigate the president's political opponent in order to help his re-election campaign. President Trump abused his authority as commander-in-chief and chief diplomat to benefit himself.
And while senators and the president's defense team are not allowed to speak or interrupt presentations inside the chamber, they've taken to the cameras waiting just outside.
Look, anytime a good lawyer listens to the other side's arguments and you respond accordingly, we will build our, as I said before, we will refute their case and we will present our case.
Would you please be seated?
While Republicans have expressed frustration at what they believe to be the repetitive nature of the facts being presented.
If you say it often enough, it must be true. And the good news is the Democrats have literally bought into that premise that if you just say it often enough, it must be true. And we've heard the same story. Rinse it, recycle it, and repeat it.
From what we heard from the managers yesterday, the day before, it is the same thing day after day after day. It does seem that after about an hour and a half, they start repeating themselves as if you could impeach by just kind of repeating the same thing, by repetition. We are ready for the president's team to put their defense on. The president didn't have a chance to do that in the House.
An inaccurate statement, given the White House's rejection of an invitation to participate in hearings before the House Judiciary Committee.
One of the things that I noticed is that the Republicans have said that we're being repetitive. Well, you know what? They spent all of Tuesday fighting back all of our efforts to present new evidence and new documents. So they're being totally hypocritical and saying that this is all, we haven't produced any new stuff, as though the things that have already been presented isn't damning enough of what the president did. And what the president did is are impeachable offenses, in my view.
As Democrats urge their Republican colleagues to keep an open mind. So with impeachment managers concluding their opening arguments later Friday, the president's defense team will then have the next 3 days of the Senate hearings to argue for why he should not be removed from office. Expect to hear language about an unfair process in the House, that Democrats are seeking to nullify the last and next election, and that their client has done nothing wrong. Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.